Alright. Peter Rossi, Miss Kaiser, A.P. Lang, 12/28/12. The fear of loneliness. Being part of a group can be a great experience for one with the benefits that come from being part of one. But what about when a group has opinions that differ from one's own? A group can be about almost anything and try to tie in members to their group with making you feel like one might belong with them. Though there are certain groups which are, quote, like swarms of bees that gather together, they connive together and act in unison, end quote. Ogenringola 1-2. What is seen here is how a group can sometimes operate very selectively and want everyone to share a common opinion, so there is no difference within the group. People will work hard to join or become part of something, and groups play upon this want, securing members to the group and keeping their thoughts alike. Trying to join a group can have effects upon a person by how a group can mold and change a person to be part of their group and not an insubordinate. In these groups, members tend to, quote, ignore alternatives and tend to take irrational actions, end quote, psysr.org. A group's closed-minded thought process can stem from the leader of that group, and the tone is set for the members to follow. Leaders are the ones that drive a group and lead to how people interact with each other within the group. A leader sets the tone for the group by the actions that the leader puts forth as examples for its members to follow in the group. A leader can set a trend, like not disagreeing with the group's decisions or thoughts based off being isolated from the group itself. This direct pressure on dissenters from leaders, make members feel, quote, under pressure not to express arguments against any of the group's views, end quote, psysr.org. The tone of the leader sets the stage for a group's behavior, like how they will pressure other members to not disbelieve in the group's views and ideas. At times, a leader must even lie to a group to keep them all following the basic same thought process set by the leader himself for the group. These lies that a leader might tell are, quote, peacekeeping lies, lies designed to avoid irritation or argument, lies designed to shelter the liar from possible blame or pain, lies designed to keep trouble at bay, end quote. Vjorst 335. A leader needs to carry a group in line and to not doubt the cause of the group and its purpose, which may lead to the leader lying to the group in order to protect him or keep the group together. From having the leader in a group, one gets to see a manipulative role, which extends off from the leader, and then the group itself and its members play an active role in the group's ideology. A group and leader can be manipulative in a group instilling fear, panic, self-doubt, or security when someone may be trying to join or its dissent. Fear can be instilled upon people and can be manipulative, whether it is from a group or its group's leaders. The fear of disappointment and isolation can prove to be a lot with peer pressure, like, quote, I saw the elephant, I knew with perfect certainty that I ought not to shoot him, but at that moment I glanced round at the crowd that had followed, all certain that the elephant was going to be shot, end quote. Orwell 591. The fear of being isolated can be manipulative force used by the group to make a member do something. Like in this case, a group forced someone to shoot an elephant against his personal interests. This also exemplifies self-doubt, making one choose whether to do what a group might want you to do and what one might be personal comfortably with doing. The flip side of that follows with self-doubt is the feeling of security about a decision made by having a group backing on one's decision. The personal panic within a group is also used to manipulate one into agreeing with others rather than being an outsider with a differing opinion. People may agree to a leader's opinion in a state of panic or fear, or being wrong or isolated, like, quote, we need more dissenting opinions, end quote, bracket, response, and bracket. Quote, we agree 100%, end quote. Quote, absolutely, sir, end quote, end quote. See Figure 1. An individual who does not want to be different is played upon by leaders and groups as they seek to keep members. This can be seen in Figure 1, where the workers agree with their boss completely. Manipulations are in effect from groups and leaders, which lead to conformity of members within the group itself. Lastly, conformity makes members want to stay in the group without questioning opinions or the actions of a group. With conformity, members see the group as a society that is always right and obtain a belief in inherent morality. This inherent morality leads to members believing in, quote, the rightness of their cause, and therefore ignore the ethical or moral consequence of their decision, end quote, psysr.org. This is the point in which the leader has complete obedience of his group and is able to control the group's ideas and opinions through manipulation. Conformity is a thought that all the members of a group carry the same idea in their mind without dispute. An example would be some of the first scientists and how they, quote, quote, all were shouting and screaming, quote, the earth is flat, end quote. It was unanimous and undisputable ratification. Not a single fool was found to think otherwise. This was an example of group conformity by how all the scientist members shared the idea of the earth being flat, and they would not think otherwise in fear of being isolated from the group. In these groups, members who do not conform will eventually be kicked out for their differing opinions and ideas within a group. Conformity is when a group is finally at its complete stage, with all members following the ideology set forth by the leader and the group. This pattern of events following the group is known as the spiral of silence. The spiral of silence, which was the German political scientist Elizabeth Noel Neumann mass communication theory on groups of people. It states that due to a fear of isolationism and being wrong, people will conform to a group's idea eventually and get in a state of pluralistic ignorance. It starts with one person wanting to join a group and then extends to how the leader and other group members manipulate one into the conformity of the group's ideal and thought process. The spiral of silence is important to understand in today's society, with the different groups to be a part of, like political parties, religious cults, and the mass media. Finally, it is vital to break the silence and the chain of conformity, because when one loses individual voice in society, we lose democratic freedom.